Serena is a fox wife. To be precise, her character is inspired by old stories of fox wives from Japan that were quite popular and still are. But why a fox at all? Why not some other animal? Well, the answer is yokai. Yokoso minasan, I'm PokeRider M and I love yokai and Pokemon, so here we are talking about both. Now, as you trainers already know, there are over 1,000 Pokemon recorded in the Pokédex, quite a few inspired by foxes. And if you'd like to learn more about the first true Pokédex, then make sure to check out my other video, but be sure to finish this one too. This is a cute little fox, or maybe your friend, or perhaps it is your wife, and you only just found out. In Japanese, this animal is called a kitsune, and it also doubles as a yokai in many stories. Its abilities include, and likely are not limited to, possession, generating fire or lightning, manifestation, flight, invisibility, illusions, bending time and space, and life absorption. Stories of foxes go back as far as 720 AD. That's about 1,304 years ago, according to Google. Now, I've been reading this book. It is called The Ultimate Guide to Japanese Yokai. And according to the author, the second oldest book in Japan, the Nihon Shoki, or the Written Record of Japan, there is a mention of a shooting star referred to in this kanji, normally read as tengu, but instead is read as kitsune or celestial fox in this story. This is just to give you an idea of just how far back fox stories go. Most Japanese fox stories tend to be romantic. The first one was written in 822 AD, recorded in the Nihon Ryoiki, or the Record of Miraculous Events in Japan. This story is about a fox named Kuzunoha who married a man named Abe no Yasuna, who saved the fox's life. They went on to have a child they named Abe no Seimei, and this child became a popular onmyoji, or a exorcist in English. And apparently, this child was quite the strong exorcist, perhaps due to his parentage. Sadly, Kuzunoha's identity as a kitsune was revealed, and she could no longer stay with her family like she once had. But now everyone knows that Kuzunoha was one foxy mama. Proud of that. In Pokemon, we've seen instances where Pokemon had changed into human forms, such as in the Pokemon movies Pokemon Heroes and in Pokemon Zoroark, Master of Illusions. And in the Pokemon Zoroark movie, we also know that at least the Zoroark family can communicate with humans, albeit via telepathy. Ultimately, however, there is no argument to Serena being human, unless her entire life she's been keeping it a secret. But that's a bit of a stretch. The theory around N from Black and White is more plausible because he can communicate with Pokemon and humans. Perhaps Serena is not a fox wife, but it does not mean she wasn't inspired by such. After all, in the whole of Ash's story since leaving Palatown, it was Serena that fell for Ash, and much like in the story of Kuzunoha, they have history. Serena knew Ash back in Palatown during a camping event. It was Ash who helped Serena after she was lost and hurt. Ash helped Serena like Yasuna had helped Kuzunoha. And then, Serena fell for Ash like Kuzunoha fell for Yasuna. And in both stories, the two eventually had to part ways. A tragic love story of Japan, taking place in the City of Love, within the Pokemon world. We understand now that Serena's storyline was likely inspired by the old stories of fox wives here in Japan, but now let's address the witches theme. Why incorporate a fox-type Pokemon like Fennekin among the starters? Why does Fennekin evolve into a magical girl? And why in Kalos? To answer these questions, we need to learn about the Mahou-tsukai, or the magic users of Japan. Now, if we include each magic user's specialty and their source of magic, the list of different types of magic users could go for quite a while. So instead, I'll just start out with just a couple. And don't worry, magic users are closely related to the yokai here in Japan. There are the Miko, who serve the temples, they keep it clean, perform invocations, and they love their paper seals, or ofura in Japanese. Take Sailor Mars, for example. She is a Miko, and she loves using ofura in battle. There are also Yamabushi, a type of monk that traverse the lands becoming one with nature and resigning their ego. They helped travelers find their way and were good at martial arts and had supernatural powers. Miroku from Inuyasha was a Yamabushi and definitely had supernatural powers. So why have a sorcerer-themed Pokemon starter now in this region called Kalos? Well, Kalos is based off the country France in Europe. Europe, where the generic concept of the witch's outfit and the word witch comes from. So because these Kalos games X and Y are based on France, a country in Europe, and the general concept of a witch's outfit and such comes from Europe, and these Pokemon starters had a general RPG motif going on, it just made sense to include a mage as one of the Pokemon starters for this region. Okay, so before I had mentioned some magic users, Miko and the Yamabushi. Now, the importance of understanding magic users of Japan becomes much clearer once our little Fennekin evolves. Fennekin evolves into Braixen. It's their middle stage evolution, and now wields a wand that it shoots fire with. Its fur around its waist now resembles a frilly dress. Overall, it looks like a magical girl Pokemon, and no doubt that was the creator's intention. Magical girl anime is widely popular. It adopted some of the basic attire from European witches and mixed it into Japanese idol attire. So perhaps that's why they never evolved Serena's Braixen during the X&Y series. This form made it easy for Serena and Braixen to appear as a magical girl duo during their career as Pokemon performers. Braixen's magical girl phase is appropriate, since it's not yet fully evolved and magical girls are typically kids and not yet fully grown themselves. But eventually it needs to evolve and graduate from the magical girl business. When it does, it'll become a mystical Delphox. Its fur will drape down to the ground in a beautiful red color with fire insignias on both sides. Its red fur around the forearms will fall heavier to resemble furisode, or long sleeves. Its new appearance will look not too dissimilar to the attire worn by temple shrine maidens, or in Japanese, Miko. They wore red and white kimonos, like Sailor Mars did in her Miko attire. Mikos performed invocations where they received messages from gods and or other supernatural forces to deliver messages or read the future. Delphox's name comes from Delphi and Fox, and Delphi was an oracle-type entity as well, but in Greek mythology. Its Japanese name is a little more simple. It's Mafoxi, which seems like a combo of magic, maho, and foxy, or magic plus fox plus prophecy. I'm not sure, but I am sure that being a psychic type definitely suits a Pokemon based off a Maho-tsukai that is able to read the future. Now we understand that Fennekin evolving into a magical girl ties these two cultures of magic users together. But still, why a fox? We know both foxes and witches are magical beings, but what is the overlap? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there are many ways to becoming a magic user here in Japan, and one of those ways is making a pact. In this instance, it's making a pact with a yokai. If someone were to make a pact with a fox or a kitsune, they would be able to use a kitsune's power as their own, and they would become a kitsune-tsukai. Now, similar to a maho-tsukai or a magic user, a kitsune-tsukai is a fox user. And any fox within this pact will answer any questions possible, steal for you, and curse other beings. But how does one become a kitsune-tsukai to begin with? Well, from the same book as I mentioned earlier, I learned how in 3 easy steps. Let's go. Alright, becoming a kitsune-tsukai for dummies. Step 1. Find and tame a pregnant fox. Shouldn't be too hard. I don't know where to find a fox to begin with, let alone a pregnant one, but good luck. Step 2, when the pups are born, care for them just as well. Step 3, out of thanks, the mother kitsune will ask you to name one of her adorable little pups, and once you have, that pup and its future offspring will obey your every command, so long as you continue to care for them. At this point, you are a kitsune-tsukai. Congratulations! Much like the witches in history, the kitsune-tsukai were also discriminated against. In part due to some of the kitsune-tsukai using their kitsune to possess other people and make them ill, and then charging for a cure, which really was them recalling their kitsune. I mean, maybe don't do that. Yay. It's important to note that anyone that becomes a kitsune-tsukai cannot go back, and now your descendants are also considered kitsune-tsukai by blood right. These families are known as tsukimono suji. Tsukimono means a thing that possesses, and suji means family or clan. This essentially is a witch clan by blood. Because of this, if you were looking for a job outside the family fox business, well, perhaps changing your name would be best. After all, many feared tainting their business or future bloodlines by such a union. In a way, Serena made a pact with Fenkin as well, and as such, Fenkin lent her its powers, and she became an amazing Pokemon performer, thus kind of making her a kitsune-tsukai of the Pokemon world. On a last note, this is a fennec fox, and you can adopt one, especially in Japan. I'm not saying I am, but it has crossed my mind. Again, not saying I am. Yosh! Thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked this video, be sure to press that like button and share. Of course, if you want to become a kitsune-tsukai as well, then leave a comment down below. Or if you just want to adopt a cute little fennec fox, then leave a comment about that as well. それじゃあ皆さん、ポケモンも日本語もゲットだぜ。じゃあおまけです or bonus for those that stuck around. If you're worried that your precious family member or friend has been replaced by a kitsune in disguise, then offer them a choice between their favorite food in the whole wide world or a fried tofu over udon. Hopefully it's not the same. Because in the past, kitsune were known to love fried tofu so much that this dish is now called kitsune udon. So, じゃあ皆さん、またね. That's it. That's all I got.